Alright, welcome to Confusing Bits. I am Corey. Let's talk about 4,000 Weeks Times Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. So this continues my obsession with productivity books. and this one's like an anti-productivity book. It's kind of weird. It was kind of a little bit refreshing. It talks about how time management is really the most important thing, not more productivity. It's to focus more that we have a limited amount of time, and that we should be focusing our. That's the most important productivity hack, if we was to summarize it that way. Too long, didn't read, is that it's a good book, but perhaps this should have been a blog post, maybe not a whole book. It's well written, but I wouldn't put it high on the list of books that you need to read, even though it says New York Times bestseller. I don't know. This is sort of a yeah. So if you want to stick around and watch, we'll get a little bit more in depth. But this book is a bit more of a anti-productivity book. It's all about how we should focus more on what we're doing and not how efficiently we do it. So, let's do some blurbs here. The average human lifespan is absurdly, insultingly brief. Assuming you live to be 80, you have just over 4,000 weeks. Nobody needs to be told that there isn't enough time. We're obsessed with lengthening to-do lists, overfilled inboxes, work-life balances, and ceaseless battle against distraction. We're deluged with advice on becoming more productive and efficient and life hacks to optimize our days. But such techniques often end up making things worse. The sense of anxiety, anxious hurry grows more intense, and yet the most meaningful parts of life seem to lie just beyond the horizon. Still, we rarely make the connection between our daily struggles with time and the ultimate time management problem, the challenge of how best to use our 4,000 weeks, and blah, 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 blah. Oliver Burkeman is the author of The Antidote, Happiness for People Who Can't Stand Positive Thinking. He wrote a long-running weekly column on psychology for The Guardian. This column will change your life. And his work has appeared in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Psychologies, and New Philosopher. He lives in New York City. Okay, this is by Mark Manson. This a wonderfully honest book. 4,000 Weeks is a much needed reality check in our culture's craziest assumptions around work, productivity, and living a meaningful life. Mark Manson, New York Times bestselling author of Everything is Fucked and Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which I've been meaning to read. But we haven't gotten around to that yet. So yeah. Some more blurbs. This is the most important book ever written about time management. Oliver Burkeman offers a searing indictment of productivity hacking and program insights on how to make the best use of our scarcest, most precious resource. His writing will challenge you to rethink many of your beliefs about getting things done, and you'll be wiser because of it. By Adam Grant, New York Times bestselling author, Think Again, a host of Work Life. And then there's a couple of the blurbs here. I think we get the gist. So this book is, I literally just got through reading this book, and if you wanted me to tell you precisely what was in this book, I couldn't say. Like I said, it's more the anti-thought leadership. It gets the point. The point gets across like in the first. I would say the first chapter that we have 4,000 weeks of time on this earth, and how do you want to spend that time? Do you want to? You can't productivity your way to happiness. I have been on the productivity journey as documented on this channel for probably 2 years now, And things have improved. I would say one of the biggest impacts was probably this book, Atomic Habits. And I think one of the reasons why this book has helped so much is because it's all about, I don't think about most of the things that I have implemented from that book. There's just part of the routine here. The reading that I do every day, the morning walks and everything, that's just part of some of the habits that I developed. So I do the morning walks, and part of that is to wake me up, reset my biological clock. I didn't realize, there's a lot of biohacks and stuff like that people talk about. That's one thing that actually works, is getting sunlight on you first thing in the morning, getting your heart rate up a little bit, and getting that morning walk in. And I also I go for a 1 mile walk. It's not that bad, and I get all my reading done, practically all my reading done on audiobook. So if you want to read a bunch more, and you want to wake up refreshed every day and ready to go because your biological clock is in sync, instead of wanting to, hit the alarm and try to sleep in, get light on your skin first thing in the morning, and go for a walk and listen to audiobooks, and you'll be a productivity guru like me. But anyway, little habits like that I've developed from that book. And I've read all of these books are pretty much all of these books are like in the productivity category. So I have a little bit of context. This is the context that I'm talking about here. I like thinking about efficiency and improving things and everything, but this book did make me kind of rethink. Maybe I could do a little bit better job of making sure I'm doing the right things instead of doing everything, because I'm very particular about my work. I'm always thinking that I could do my work at my job a little bit better. So one of the things that they talk about in this book, and I should probably be a little bit more of a stickler for, is leaving work at work. I'm going to work from 7 to 4, and those are my hours. That's when I'm not going to think about work. Or I'm not going to try to think about work. I'm not going to try to fit in a little bit extra time because I didn't feel very productive today, so I got to make up. I got to get rid of those thoughts of guilt about. As long as I'm doing my best, that's my best. That was my best for the day. We'll try again the next day. That kind of thing. You constantly try to improve, but you can't let your life be dictated by work or whatever. There's other things we want to do. We want to spend time with family and stuff like that, and you want to spend time with friends. You want to spend time on hobbies. And one of my hobbies is a little weird, is that I like to program. So if I'm working, trying to work too much, then I don't get to do any recreational programming, so it's a little I feel unfulfilled if I'm not allowed to do that. If I'm not allowed to innovate at work in the way that I want, and I don't let myself have time to do what I want, program whatever I want for in a hobbyist context, then I don't get to learn anything. Anyway, point is, we need to be more intentional. I need to be more intentional about the things that I have chosen to do. I had this huge board of things I was checking. I'm going to play music every day. I'm going to read every day. I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to exercise in some fashion every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I had this huge checklist of over a dozen things. And now I have basically pruned it down to half a dozen things, and we'll probably prune it down some more. And that was just to kind of build habits and stuff like that. That was a little check mark. So there was another thing that they had and atomic habits, and that's how I did develop some of my habits. But I'm like, maybe I don't need to practice my guitar every day. I'm not going to be a genius guitar. It's okay to accept that I'm not going to be really great at the guitar. I'm not going to be really great with music. I'm not going to be great with my trumpet. I'm not going to, and that's okay. I could leave some of my hobbies as terrible hobbies. I could be bad at some hobbies, and that's okay. I don't get to play video games anymore. That's a hobby that I used to love, and I never take time to do that anymore. Maybe that's something that I might want to do. I did have a bunch of enjoyment with playing video games in the past, so maybe sometime in the future I'll add that back in and start paying attention to that thing. Finding little things that, making sure that I'm scheduling time for the life that I want to live, and that's what this book has really got to thinking. I think it talks about how, I think one of the reasons why this book kind of did so well is that it did, in the, I don't know, what's that fancy word? The zeitgeist, the collective conscience of the world after COVID and all that jazz. Probably shouldn't have said that word, because then we'll have the little warning at the bottom of the video now about COVID information. YouTube is content filters going crazy right now. Anyway, I think after the C word that people started thinking a little bit more about their work-life balance and thinking more about what's important in life. I know I have focused more on my family, even though I've been remote this whole time. So the whole, I didn't experience any change in my work with all of the COVID stuff, but I know for a lot of people, they come home. I know I've talked to some people at my work, and they're apparently, the remote stuff is new to them. And so I'm like, well, I've been doing this whole time. And I think, everybody's trying to figure out how to do this stuff and trying to figure out how do we connect with people. Because we've learned that really that's all that matters. We used to kind of think it, but I think it brought it to the forefront that actually the home life is the thing that actually matters. The work stuff is the stuff that allows you to have your home life, but the point is to have the home life, right? If you don't have that, then what are you doing? Who wants to work just for working? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. It's kind of like this book. It goes on this long tangent of, again, what I said. It probably could have been a blog post, but it's not a bad book. I don't want to say that it's a bad book. It's not a bad book, and maybe it's the right thing that someone needs to hear at the right time. So I'm not going to not recommend it. I will say, I will just say this. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with productivity hacks and stuff like that, and you feel like you've been on the productivity treadmill like I have for quite some time, and then you realize that actually you've gotten all of the low-hanging fruit, and if you really step back and think you've gotten all the low-hanging fruit, and you're like, okay, what really have we got here? Where else can we go here? Maybe this is the book for you to start saying, okay, now that we've gotten efficient, let's figure out, make sure we're doing, make sure we're aiming at the right target, so to speak. So anyway, so in that sense, I think it is there's a word I'm looking for. It is a book that might help the right person at the right time. Who needs to calm down from the productivity treadmill. So anyway, yeah, this is 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman, and I will see you guys next time.